I'm pleased to share with you some of the exciting research that is going on and review some of the things that have happened in the past to allow people with type 1 diabetes to have hope for a cure and currently live better lives with type 1 diabetes. So as many of you know, type 1 diabetes results when the body's immune system recognizes the beta cells, which make insulin, as foreign and wage this antibody attack, which is relentless, ultimately resulting in destruction of the beta cells. So in order to cure type 1 diabetes in people that already have type 1, we'll need to replace those beta cells and then also protect them from the attack that continues to go on, because once the immune system recognizes something as foreign, it's very difficult to turn that off. One way to prevent or delay attack is through a process of protecting the beta cells through a process called encapsulation. And that really occurs in two forms. One is putting beta cells in a small device, this company called ViaCyte, and they implant that under the skin of someone with type 2 diabetes, and over 2 years the cells will be able to make insulin and be protected from the immune system. So that's very exciting studies. In terms of preventing type 1 diabetes, there are many studies going on. Some of you may have been involved in or are involved in the TrialNet study, looking at first degree or siblings of people with type 1 diabetes. And that has allowed identification of biomarkers in the blood that predict risk for type 1 diabetes. And biomarkers are chemicals that can be measured in the blood. They're actually antibodies. And we know that once someone manifests 2 of those antibodies, they're considered to have clinical stage 1 diabetes. And at that point, it may be possible to intervene to either delay the onset of type 1 diabetes or prevent it. And there are several studies funded by the JDRF looking at that. We talked about the verapamil study. They're looking at oral insulin. So by giving people oral tablets of insulin, that may help delay the immune system recognizing that. And finally, they're using a cancer therapy called Gleevec, which is an oral medicine also that has showed some promise in delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes. As Dan mentioned, I've been in practice for over 20 years, and over that time, we've gone from animal insulin, which maybe some of you have never even heard of, but we had insulin produced by animals that we used to inject that wasn't very, it was good, but it wasn't great. With the advent of some gene therapy and DNA, we've been able to train bacteria and other organisms to produce human insulin, and they can actually tweak those molecules so that the insulin can have different properties, and that's why we have longer acting insulin and shorter acting insulin. But on the horizon is this ultra fast insulin, so that ultra rapid insulin, so that you can inject it right when you eat, and it looks just like what happens in the normal physiology. That is, it has quick onset and then goes away quickly. And this insulin is on the market in Europe. It should be out in the United States soon, but the development of this was funded in part through JDRF. But I think the biggest news of the year has been the release of the Medtronic 670G pump, which is known as a closed loop system or a hybrid artificial pancreas. And this is basically a pump paired with a sensor, and the sensor and the pump work together to dose insulin. So no longer does the doctor or the patient have to figure out how much insulin you need when. The sensor and the pump, through artificial intelligence, figure out how much insulin you need at a given time and predict what you're going to need going forward. So it learns sort of your physiology. You only have to tell it at this point when you're going to eat and when you're going to exercise, and the rest it takes on for itself. It's a very interesting feature that it will stop insulin, not when the glucose is low, but when it predicts there will be a low glucose. So even before someone has a low glucose level, the pump recognizes that and either stops or slows down the insulin release. And really, this is a game changer in terms of pump therapy. There are several other companies that are actively looking at systems like this, and I think the technology in the future